heard the expression, the sharpest tool in the shed. Well, this shovel is going to be the sharpest tool in the shed. One of the first things I learned when my wife and I looked into building a victory garden is that it's going to take a lot of hard work and require a lot of new knowledge about gardening. So you're going to want to have the right tools and have them in good shape in order to make your work a little bit easier. My name is John Carambet, and in the short video I'm going to show you a little bit about a mostly forgotten phenomenon in America called the victory garden.
Victory gardens, also called war gardens or food gardens for defense, were vegetable, fruit, and herb gardens planted at private residences and public parks in the United States and other countries during World War I and World War II. Governments encouraged people to plant victory gardens not only to supplement their rations, but also to boost morale. Nearly 20 million Americans participated. They planted gardens in backyards, empty lots, and city rooftops, and even the White House lawn. Neighbors pooled their resources, planted different kinds of foods, and formed cooperatives, all in the name of patriotism. The produce was used along with rationing stamps to reduce pressure on the public food supply. Besides indirectly aiding the war effort, these gardens were also considered a morale booster, in that gardeners could feel empowered by their contribution of labor and rewarded by the produce grown. This made victory gardens a part of daily life on the home front for many years, and the amount of food produced was significant. By May 1943, there were 18 million victory gardens in the United States, 12 million in cities, and 6 million on farms. Fruit and vegetables harvested in these home and community plots was estimated to be 8,200,000 to 9,100,000 tons in 1944, an amount equal to all commercial production of fresh vegetables.
This is my interview with Debbie Carambet, who planted this victory garden. Debbie, can you tell me something about the plants that are planted here?
Sure. I have this area right here. This is cantaloupe, this is pumpkin, and over here we have watermelon. Next door, these are potatoes, and you can see the potatoes are starting to sprout through pretty good. Once they get to about 5 inches high, I'll cover it with dirt up to the greenery, because potatoes grow along the stalk of the potato. So they'll have offshoots of potatoes all through that area. Over here I have a hanging basket of strawberries. I didn't plant this, I just bought it. In here we have beets getting started. And if you look at that, you can see the red stems of the beets. It's my sister-in-law's favorite vegetable, so I actually planted more beets than just this. You can't see anything here, but this is one day going to be eggplant. Behind me here, this is a bell pepper plant, and you can see some fruit starting to form on it. So all these, you can see these are onions, and I have a whole bunch of them here, but I'm going to show you this next part. I have a whole area of it here. So this is okra, and I have some more okra planted here and up front. Here I'm just kind of experimenting with a bean. I haven't grown beans before, so I'm just kind of experimenting with a type of a bush bean, but I have more lima beans. So all this is just onions, just rows and rows of onions. And then I'm not trying to grow the crawfish, but he doesn't seem to want to move, so I have to look up how to make him move. On this last row, we have some cucumbers started right here, and then these are some more onions. I have a lot of onions, but you can see the cucumbers. We have a row of some thyme growing that hasn't grown yet. This is going to be saved for John ordered a seed, and so all of this area is saved for John's seed whenever it gets here. It's some sort of bean pod. Here we have more cucumber and more onion. Like I said, I have a lot of onion. And then this last part here, this is spaghetti squash. This is lima beans, and back here is corn. And actually John gave me this idea. This is the Three Sisters, and it's because the corn will grow tall, the bean can grow up the corn, and then the squash leaves give everything else shade to protect it from the summer heat.
So in which direction is the sun coming from for these?
That way?
Southern sky. So the sun is coming down from the southern sky, And so you're trying to grow your tall plants in the back and your shorter plants grow up front, and that way everybody gets the sun.
Anything else you want to know?
I think that's it. I noticed you also had a bunch of flowers planted around here. So besides herbs for flavoring, like thyme
We have
and
that in
such,
the front, yes.
yeah, you've also got some flowers. Is there any reason you would plant the marigolds, for example?
I planted flowers that the marigolds are insect resistant. Insects don't like the smell of marigolds, so I don't use so much pesticide. I use some of that. And then the other flowers are because these attract bees, and just to get a bigger crop of vegetables, you want to try to have bees. I have lavender over here behind me, and then I have some more marigolds over there to plant, but I'm kind of waiting to see what comes up before I mulch everything and put the rest of the marigolds in.
Well, thanks, Debbie, for giving us a tour of the garden. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I have more up front if you want to see those.
Now here you can see that I'm doing the structural work, building the fences and all that, and my wife is doing all the intelligent work of figuring out what plants go on the inside and how to plant them. I'll show you more about that right now. Right now the fence has cost about $400, which means each little cherry tomato will be about $50 a piece. I can't wait for that. All right.
Here you can see that I have surrounded the garden with deer fence made of 2" by 4" galvanized 14 gauge. And now down here I've installed rabbit fence around the bottom. The rabbit fence is 1/2" galvanized openings and is partially buried below ground level to stop rabbits and other rodents from burrowing beneath the fence. I finish up by building a gate from rabbit fence and installing a slip bolt. Now, one year I built 2 20-foot long raised gardens and planted lettuce and bell pepper. It only took 2 weeks for the deer and other animals to eat the plants down to the root. That's why this time I started by building a fence. Until you build a fence, though, you can start your seed and seedling inside and even get inventory of plant from food scraps.
My wife is taking some hearts of romaine lettuce, and then after you cut the top part off and eat it for a salad, you can save the bottom part and just stick it in a tray of water. Now this one we cut and we ate just about 3 days ago. These two here, and one that I'll show you in a minute out in the garden, these were cut, probably about a week, maybe 7 days ago. Here she's done the same thing with some celery. You can see the celery starting to grow up here. And then one of the few Irish parades that we had, St. Paddy's Day parades, these are some of the carrots that came from that St. Paddy's Day parade. And if you notice, if you stick the top in there, they're starting to grow. So once they grow and they start to establish roots, you can put them in the ground outside. Now, these are some greens that we found just kind of laying around in the bottom of the refrigerator, and you can see she's put them in some water, and they are just growing like a champ. And all she had to do was put them in a window. What kind of greens is this, babe?
Turnip.
These are turnip greens. And so this is a real quick and easy way to produce a lot more food. And by growing it hydroponically in the windows, you don't have to worry so much about having rabbits and so forth come and eat your food. So there you go. That's what you got today. This is how to grow food from scraps.
That wraps our tour and history of the Victory Garden. I hope you learned a little. I'm sure I'll learn a lot more as my wife and I continue to nurture our plants. Now in the end, I expect we'll be rewarded with the memories of our work here and the fruits of our labor.